It doesn't need to be that complicated. Right now, we're in a spot where nutrition and diet advice is going everywhere. You can't even go onto the internet at this point without seeing the latest ketogenic hack or low carb or juice cleanse type of routine that's going to be going on. Sure, those are great add-ons or lifestyle modifications that you can make down the road once you've established some good fundamental habits. But what those programs don't always give you are those fundamental habits that you can use and that they're interchangeable with any type of meal option or lifestyle scenario that you may be faced with at the time. What I want to take you on today is just a real quick set of principles that I find to be very effective to get a little bit more of a wrangle on your current stand of nutrition. This approach is really effective on building a fundamental habit and a more of a positive relationship with food, so you can kind of understand what your body actually needs to be consuming in quantity rather than just what is going in. Once you determine how much quantity can go in, you can feel free to drag and drop what the quality of the food that will be going in is then. Don't mistake replacing good quality but still having too high of a quantity. You can eat all the vegetables and lean protein and healthy fats you want, but if you're still consuming 5,000 calories a day, I don't think it's really gonna matter how good you're eating. You're eating too much to either boost your performance and lose weight, unless you're a world-class athlete. Likewise, if you start eating extremely healthy, but you're consuming very few calories, far too few for your body to both boost in energy and build lean muscle, you're gonna see huge drops in energy, and you may even begin to lose muscle mass because your body would begin to metabolize it since you're not giving it the food it needs to build energy. So what can you do about this? All you need to do is just set yourself up with some fundamental daily habits and a weekly routine that's going to get you in a state where you can recognize how much food you need, what amount of food makes you feel good, and how to make it sustainable so you can continue to do it throughout the full year, not for 21 days or a month or two. So this approach I'm going to talk about in just a moment, I find is very effective to feel comfortable and have a steady, progressive loss of weight without sacrificing your performance and without sacrificing still enjoying the pleasure of some foods. As you can see right here, I'm not recommending you go out and dump out your pantry and go buy spinach and olives and sardines and avocados. If that's something that you enjoy to eat, go right for it. I like them too. But what I'm going to take you on is just some principles to help establish and get a good foundation into your nutrition. So 5 days per week, what you should do is focus on eating just your BMR, or your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories that your body expends by doing absolutely nothing. The minimal effective amount you need to live without either gaining weight or gaining fat. Also without losing weight or losing fat. So it's right at that perfect homeostasis line. You can find out your BMR pretty readily available if you go into the World Wide Web and internet search up any online calculator. They're quite accurate, within about 1 to 200 calories. So take it with just a slight grain of pink Himalayan sea salt, if you will. Once you find out what your BMR is, we'll say for instance, mine is about 3,000 calories per day because I'm highly active. I would eat about 3,000 calories 5 days per week. What that's going to do is that's going to give me sustained energy without overeating. So I'm going to find that sweet spot. At first, it may feel like you're eating too much or too little calories just based on what you were doing prior to that. That's okay. Allow it to sink in. Again, since it's a change, it maybe will take 1, 2, or 3 weeks of acclimation before you begin to feel the positive effects that it can bring. Second, if you're burning out some calories, say if you're going into a normal exercise routine, keep in mind that you should replenish those calories, but not go into a surplus. If you perform an hour of a cross-training session, that workout doesn't mean you need a smoothie and a snack and deserve dessert at the end of the day, because you just put yourself in a huge caloric surplus. If you can sustain that for 5 days out of the week, that is really, really great for your body to get very comfortable and acclimated to that sweet spot amount of fuel that it needs to really keep your internal engine firing well. as well as bringing out the external appearance that goes along with that. Now, 2 days out of the week, they can be back-to-back days, or they can be, we'll say, Monday and Thursday, for example. I'm going to recommend eating less than your basal metabolic rate. So I would eat maybe 2,500 calories, something lower than. What that's going to do is it's going to put you in a caloric deficit. And when your body goes into a caloric deficit, it's going to use the energy that you have stored up, aka the fat on your body. That fat is going to then be burned and utilized in your daily life for intelligence or intellectual energy or physical energy, or even while you're sleeping as energy. So it is a good thing to eat less than you should a few times per week. Since you're eating less food on these days, I'm really going to highly recommend to make sure you go for quality first. If you know that you love greens and you love to get in your superfoods and a shake or two, make sure that those are going into your body first and you're leaving the extras or the add-ons on the side just in case there isn't enough room in your daily nutritional intake to get all the things that you want and need to get in. Now, at first, it may feel weird to be eating that few of calories if you're used to consuming many. I, for one, was not on board with long-term fasting or taking big breaks between eating at first. I was used to eating 1 or 2 times every couple hours, just because I was told you need to eat a lot to keep your metabolism high. Well, that's not true. You can go a long time without eating, without affecting your metabolism, as long as you're following a rigid and a consistent protocol around that. So your body knows to expect food soon, but for the time being, it can work on using the energy that you have stored up. Now, on top of the 5 days of eating the correct amount and 2 days of eating just less than the correct amount for your body to function at its baseline level, there are some things that I think you should pay attention to every day of the week, regardless of what quantities you're eating. And the first one's going to be to make sure you're really enjoying and appreciating the fact that you're having that food, that snack, or that meal. It doesn't need to be ceremonious, but it should not be carnivorous. Meaning, you don't need to bless your food and light some candles and have some sort of hymn or chant before you go into a meal. But likewise, try not to eat stressful or barbaric or shovel food into your mouth quickly to get it over with. There should be some sort of an intimate relationship with your meal because it is a great privilege to have food. Think about it real quick. If you're eating something that's an animal product, there is a lot of steps that go along the way between that animal being born and it ending up on your plate. Likewise, the same goes for vegetables and plants and herbs and beans and spices and all these beautiful fruits that we have. There's a huge process in getting them from seedlings to farm to table to grocery store to your belly. And sometimes it may not seem like those steps are important, but all of them really matter in the fact that you're having the opportunity to eat this food that you didn't really have to work for or strive for. So really enjoy and appreciate the fact that you have that food to eat right in front of you. The next thing is going to be take a walk after your meal or a snack, whether it's 5, 10, 15 minutes. And what this is going to do is not only aid digestion and improve your metabolism's ability to process food and get rid of waste from your stomach quickly to promote bloating, to reduce bloating, but what it's also going to do is lower your blood sugar, which is very important in preventing things like chronic diseases and type 2 diabetes in the future. Plus, it's a good way to prevent the big, bloated belly feeling you have after stuffing your face with a huge meal. Take a walk. Your body will thank you. And the last one, and certainly not the least important, is to make sure you're consuming enough water. Most people are not drinking enough water, and we don't notice the warning signs that we are actually living in a state of dehydration. When your car is low on fuel, you have a fancy little gauge that tells you when you're getting near the end of that tank, and you should probably go and make an effort to refill it up so it can keep moving at its best possible way and not leave you stranded on the side of the road. Well, our body also sends off some signals to let you know when you're running low on water, being your primary source of fuel. Things like a lower lack of energy or feeling lethargic, even some things such as chronic muscle tightness or stiffness and overall chronic fatigue can be adding to the signs that you may be living in a state of minor dehydration more often than you're thinking. Some ways you can easily combat this are to leave water bottles in places that you commonly are at, whether it be in your home office, next to your bedside table, in the car, at the office. Whether it's a full water bottle or a reusable water bottle that you're able to fill back up with either a fountain or a cooler, it's good to have your canister with you so there's no way you'll ever have the inability to not access water to drink. As a good little trick, pick yourself up a 24 or 32 ounce bottle and try to consume at least one of them before lunchtime after you wake up. Consume another one between lunchtime and dinner time. And then on the bookends of your day, whether it be just before going to bed and just when waking up, try to have 1 or 2 glasses as well there. With that little routine or regimen, you'll easily get to at least 80 ounces of water without feeling like you're going to have to sit there with an IV bag dripping into you all day. Now, if you take these 3 little bullet points and apply them to each day, they're good staples that can help keep you regular and in a routine to keep your body moving and feeling the best it can each day. So if you've liked what you heard, please make sure you're staying in the conversation and follow Orca Empire on social media to stay up to date on the latest and greatest information to help you live better every single day. And if you're in the Fishkill area, feel free to come on in and check us out. We'd love to have you. Coach Sean signing off. Have a great day.